You're watching Sunday Edition live from our Pocket Hill studios in Highlands, Harare. Thank you for giving us your time. I am Yvonne Mukondani.
And I'm Joyce Mabika. Nobu Maungwa is on sign language, and these are our leading stories tonight. President Mnangagwa stresses importance of culture in fostering national cohesion.
Solar-powered threshers set to transform grain processing in Zimbabwe. Details in our science and tech feature.
And in our sports buzz, Hard Rock Dynamo's showdown ends in chaos as high-stakes clash abandoned.
Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The month of May is dedicated to celebrating culture, with several activities lined up for the whole month to recognize and celebrate the country's heritage.
The highlight of the Culture Month festivities took center stage in Bulawayo on Thursday, where President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa underscored the importance of culture in uniting a people. The details.
For Zimbabwe, Culture Month has become synonymous with the long celebration of the country's culture and heritage, with events held to celebrate the vibrant and diverse culture. With 16 official languages, there are different traditions and culture practiced across the country. When President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa addressed thousands at Babafield Stadium in Bulawayo, he noted that diversity should never be used as a weapon to divide people, but instead unite the people.
The importance of fostering social cohesion and national unity through arts and culture cannot be overemphasized. In a world where diversity is often weaponized, we must choose the progressive path of unity, the path of peace building and peacemaking. This has its roots in our long-standing African philosophy and the communal tradition of Ubuntu, Unu, embedded in the adage Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Ngabantu. I am because we are. It is my expectation that celebrations such as this one will remain a living epitaph of this philosophy.
For government, investing in cultural preservation remains key.
Additionally, my administration continues to invest in infrastructure to help preserve our heritage, as well as improve incomes and livelihoods at the community level. The Isizinda Culture Center in Mapisa, Matobo district in Matebeleland, South Province, which was recently commissioned by the First Lady, Amam Mnangagwa, on the eve of the 46th independence anniversary, is one such example.
While government plays a major role in ensuring Zimbabwe's heritage is preserved, President Mnangagwa applauded individuals who have invested in tourism products that promote culture.
I applaud Zimbabweans, including those in the diaspora, who are establishing community-based tourism products that advance our heritage and cuisines. Culture is good for business. Cultural tourism, creative industries, events, and cultural exports remain priority growth areas that are beckoning for investment. I invite the corporate world to partner government and invest in the cultural and creative economy sector. Synergies in this regard must see us create enabling infrastructure for increased professionalization, skills training, and creation of employment opportunities for our talented youths.
The president also called on the media to sustain the objectives of Culture Month beyond a one-day story, reminding them of their national obligation to promote Zimbabwean content. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News.
Vice President General retired Dr. Konstantino Chiwenga's visit to Nizhny Novgorod has seen Russian investors expressing keen interest in Zimbabwe. Now, this comes as the Second Republic accelerates industrialization, innovation, as well as digital transformation.
Vice President General retired Dr. Konstantino Chiwenga's visit to Nizhny Novgorod has unlocked fresh momentum in Zimbabwe-Russia relations with the high-level engagements, opening new opportunities in investment, technology transfer, industrial cooperation, and digital transformation. Representing President Emmerson Mnangagwa at the prestigious CIPR conference, Vice President Chiwenga led a high-powered delegation that engaged Russian government officials, global technology leaders, and business executives, eager to explore opportunities in Zimbabwe.
We have expertise across a variety of areas like welfare facilities, transportation, in particular public transportation. And if there's an interest on your part, we could think of localizing several production facilities in your country. We are top producer of buses, trucks, steel pipes, PVC, paper, and ethylene.
We are the leading Russian manufacturer of 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure devices and Holter systems, ECG Holter systems. As you know, cardiology diseases is still the biggest issue for healthcare of every country. And, most of deaths in the world still happening due to the myocardial infarction, strokes, and kidney failures.
The visit saw Vice President Konstantino Chiwenga and his delegation tour a special economic zone in Nizhny Novgorod, gaining insights into advanced manufacturing systems and investor-friendly infrastructure before participating in high-level discussions on artificial intelligence and global industries, as well as bilateral talks with Gleb Nitkin, the governor of Nizhny, on expanding economic cooperation between Zimbabwe and the region.
In this forum, we are expecting to establish communication, partnership. First communication, and then we find those that are going to be interested to be investing in Zimbabwe, to partner with us in our journey of development, and to establish what we can do in terms of the trade and build the trade between this region and the Russian, including the Russian Federation and Zimbabwe. We are looking at economic cooperation now because the other areas are well covered.
As Vice President General retired Dr. Konstantino Chiwenga concludes his visit to Nizhny Novgorod, Zimbabwe returns with renewed momentum in its industrialization and digital transformation agenda. From high-level engagements at the CIPR conference to meetings with Russian investors and regional authorities, the visit opened new opportunities for investment, technology transfer, and industrial cooperation. With growing Russian interest in Zimbabwe's mining, energy, manufacturing, and ICT sectors, the tour is expected to further strengthen economic ties between Harare and Moscow while advancing Zimbabwe's vision of becoming a competitive industrial and investment hub in Africa. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Nizhny Novgorod.
A funeral service for the late national hero, Brigadier General retired Donald Silundi Chuma, who died on the 15th of this month, has been held in Bulawayo this Sunday.
hundreds of people attended the funeral service for the late national hero, Brigadier General retired Donald Chuma. The funeral service was attended by family members, government officials, as well as members of the military, who described the late national hero as a man of integrity.
Sesihlangane empini eZambia, of course, sakuma different training camps. But ngemva kokuthi sesitrainile ubaba simazi thina mina ngimazi umuntu wayeyisotsha lelana ele-discipline phezulu eliqakathekisa umsebenzi wakhe elithatha ama-orders njengokuba
silahlekelwe sibili ngoba sikhangela imbali yakhe nxa siwele emuva kusukela ngesikhathi sempi up to 1980 ngizokuthola wasengena la ku-National Army. From there waqakama waze wafika esigabeni waze waretire sengu-Brigadier General.
Bengumuntu nje vele ohlala ezithulele kodwa lapha akhuluma khona uyabe ekhuluma into eqondisayo eyakhayo.
After the funeral service, the body of the late national hero was airlifted to his rural home in Kai to give villagers an opportunity to pay their final respects to the fallen gallant son of the soil. The body of the late national hero was flown back to Khumalo Barracks in Bulawayo before being taken to his Ngulumane residence, where it will lie instead ahead of a provincial send-off ceremony set for amphitheatre this Monday. The late national hero will be laid to rest at the National Shrine on Wednesday, with President Emmerson Mnangagwa presiding over the proceedings. Lisa Kurira, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Baradzanwa Cultural Village in Mazoe came alive this Saturday as hundreds of cultural enthusiasts gathered for Mbira Festival as part of the Culture Month celebrations.
Baradzanwa Cultural Village in Mazoe became the focal point of Zimbabwe's Culture Month celebrations this Saturday, hosting a festival that brought together master Mbira players, cultural custodians, diplomats and music lovers for a day dedicated to heritage and sound. First Lady Dr. Mnangagwa, who is the country's cultural ambassador, attended the event as guest of honor. She began her visit with a walk-through exhibition stands displaying a range of Mbira instruments. The displays charted the instrument's craftsmanship, historical development and spiritual role, attracting interest from guests. Mbira sensation Hope Masike opened the show with the national anthem, accompanied by the deep resonant tones of the Mbira instrument. The Baradzanwa Mbira Festival featured Mbira artists from across the country, including revered musician Ja Praiser, who performed alongside traditional ensembles. Together, they highlighted both the traditional roots and contemporary evolution of the Mbira. The ensembles, made up of both young and elderly players, opened the event by showcasing their skill in a medley of popular songs like Nemam Sasa and some Ja Praiser's hits. The event was also attended by cabinet ministers and other government officials, including the Minister of Defense, who is also ZANU-PF's national chairman, Comrade Chinguri Kashiri. The festival also drew a notable diplomatic turnout with representatives from Brazil, Turkey, Namibia, Malawi and Indonesia present. Not to be outdone are representatives from UNESCO. Their attendance reflected the growing global recognition of Zimbabwe's cultural heritage and the Mbira's reach beyond national borders. In her address, guest of honor First Lady Dr. Mnangagwa noted that the Mbira is not merely an instrument, but a heartbeat of the nation and a sacred symbol of Zimbabwean history, spirituality and cultural expression.
The policy pronouncements put in place by the government of Zimbabwe under the leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, have created an enabling environment for citizens to actively participate in the mainstream economy through our heritage-based philosophy as we journey towards the attainment of Vision 2030. The Mbira is not merely a musical instrument. It is the heartbeat of our nation. It is a sacred symbol of Zimbabwean history, spirituality, and cultural expression. For centuries, the Mbira has played an important role in ceremonies, storytelling, healing, and community gatherings. Through its sound, generations have communicated wisdom, unity, and spiritual connection. Today, we continue to witness the evolution of the Mbira and its integration into modern music genres, demonstrating the timeless spirit of this treasured heritage.
Dr. Mnangagwa also highlighted the role of Mbira in economically empowering communities.
Muri kuziva here nzvimbo dzenyu dzamugere izvozvi kuti dziri papi, dzinei, chii chinomboitika ikoko. Nyaya yedu hombe imwe iri kuzoitika ndeyekuti tiri kuya kuzoonerwa nevashanyi. Tine dzimwe nzvimbo dzakati wande dzavasati vaziva, tine dzimwe nzvimbo dzatinoda kuti tizive isu kutanga tozovaratidza.
The cultural ambassador also expressed the deepest appreciation to Mbira players for upholding the iconic instrument against all odds, while commending the growing collaboration between the Tourism and Hospitality Ministry and the one responsible for sport, recreation, arts and culture in promoting and preserving the treasured Mbira heritage. The event paid tribute to both living and late Mbira icons, including Mbira Stella Chiweshe, Efat Mujuru, Sekuru Gora, V. Mofu, Wilfred Tichawana Nyamashisha, Florence Nyamazana, Benitata Rupiwa, Tendai Gahamadze, Albert Chimedza, and Ja Praiser, among others. The Minister of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Lieutenant General Retired Anselm Sanyatwe, highlighted that Mbira is the voice of ancestors and brands Zimbabwe as a unique cultural destination.
Mbira was and still is the voice of our ancestors. Kareko, Your Excellency, nanas Mbira dzinorapa warwere. Your Excellency, Mbira dzinonyaradza wakafirwa. Your Excellency, tinoita nadzo mbira dzedu mukweverera tichikumbira mvura kubva kumazviteteguru. Kubva kumazviteteguru edu nemusiki, musika vanhu, iye vedu baba. Uyezve tinopinda matare, Your Excellency, edu sevanhu vatema tichi venekerwa ramangwana redu nevari mumhepo.
The ambassador of Brazil to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Vilma Kotno, held the Mbira Festival.
It was a real great pleasure for us to be here, to be part of this festival. We knew the Mbira before, we had heard it before, but being here and listening and finding out, knowing more about the history of Mbira and what it means for the culture of Zimbabwean people, that was an extraordinary experience for us.
Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Indonesia, Mr. Panka Indato, expressed his enthusiasm about the Mbira instrument.
It's been very great honor for me to be coming here to see how Mbira has been ongoing process to become one of the best musical instrument, the same like what Indonesia have angklung. So we have the same collaboration in music between Indonesia and also Zimbabwe. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much, Madam First Lady, for the invite. Thank you very much.
Not to be outdone is Malawian ambassador to Zimbabwe, General Retired Peter Namatanga, who was equally excited about the festival. UNESCO Regional Advisor for Culture, Mrs. Elena Constantinou, was also present.
To see that the authorities of Zimbabwe are doing all the measures to keep this amazing instrument and music alive, it's an honor for me to be here and see that and experience the culture of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe.
The host province's minister, Honorable Christopher Magomo, said the Mbira festival reaffirms the importance of preserving the country's cultural heritage as a cornerstone of national identity and sustainable development.
The Mbira, as we all know, is more than just a musical instrument. It is a sacred vessel that connects us to our ancestors, our values, and our collective history. Shona Central is richly endowed not only with minerals and fertile lands, but with a vibrant cultural heritage that holds immense potential for tourism development. From the majestic Mavradona wilderness to our sacred cultural shrines, our province also tells a unique Zimbabwean story. Furthermore, Your Excellency, your continued advocacy for cultural preservation and community development perfectly complements the aspirations of National Development Strategy 2 as we strive to attain Vision 2030.
The Minister of Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Honorable Barbara Rodzi, also highlighted the importance of Mbira instrument in the tourism sector, saying that the Mbira is a celebrated cultural asset in Zimbabwe's tourism sector, officially recognized as an epitome of the country's tourism brand. A book aimed to further document and preserve cultural knowledge for future reference was also launched at the festival. The book, titled Mbira Virtuosos, Stories of Mbira Legends, was penned by Mr. Charles Mavunga from the Bindura University of Science Education, who was represented by the institution's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Eddie Mwenje.
This volume constitutes the first systematic biographical documentation of Zimbabwe's most celebrated Mbira masters, the courageous custodians of one of Africa's most revered and spiritually resonant musical traditions.
The Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe Kazembe, applauded the cultural ambassador Dr. Mnangagwa for restoring the umbilical cord that connects Zimbabweans to traditional culture through her numerous initiatives.
Your Excellency, madzorera yatingati umbilical cord between us nechinyakare chedu. Matidzosera chaipo chaipo patofanira kunge tiri. Tichitarisa iwo magariro edu zvataurwa nevamwe. Nyango zvatinodya chaizvo. Madzosera inonzi gastronomy. Madzoreredza uremo nzvimbo ino yemazowe. Nzvimbo yambuya nehanda.
Throughout the day, groups took turns on the grounds of the cultural center, filling the air with the distinctive sound of the Mbira. In Shona culture, the Mbira holds deep historical and spiritual significance. The Baradzanwa Mbira festival lived up to its billing, and for those gathered, the Mbira stood as a living record of identity, memory, and cultural continuity. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Mazoe.
A government has commended farmers in Mashonaland West Province for embracing diversified and productive farming models that are contributing towards national food security and strengthening the country's strategic grain reserves.
Mount Camel Farm here in Chegotu is emerging as a model of farming excellence here in Mashonaland West Province. As you can see behind me, this is part of a herd of 993 cattle. So this farm is practicing mixed farming. There is a section which is under wheat production with 60 hectares having been planted so far, but according to farm authorities, the target is at least to put 100 hectares under wheat this winter wheat cropping season.
Besides 150 hectares dzechibage, tine 7.5 hectares dzesugar beans. Idzi takadzidyara musi wa 1 March dziri kudiridzwa idzodzo, hadzisi dzemvura yemudenga. Tine target yedu ye 100 hectares dzewheat. So far, tadyara 50.
Farm owner Dr. Paul Tungwarara says black farmers are demonstrating strong farming competence with motivation from the national mantra Nyika inovakwa nevenevayo ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi valo.
Nguva kana uchita basa unodzimarawo kutojairira basa racho. Takutoona kuti basa ratikuita pano rakakura. Ende zvatipa imwe inspiration yekuti tirambe tichipusha zvinhu zvakataurwa naPresident zviri kushanda kuti nyika inovakwa nevayo. Inorimwa futi nevene vayo. Ndosaka mukuona mablacks akaita sesu tiri kuzvipira tichiteedzera mutungamiri wedu wenyika ari kuleader by example. Isusu takuteerwa kumashure tichiteera dzimba dzavo tichivaka nyika yedu.
Agriculture, Mechanization and Water Resources Minister Dr. Anxious Masuka, who was in the province the past 2 days, is impressed with what he has seen so far.
75% of the wheat should be put by 31st May. Here at this farm, I was very pleased to tour the farm to see the de-risking and diversification that is being undertaken here, the 200 hectares strong irrigation, the very good maize, the yield upwards of 8-9 tons per hectare, a very good potato crop, but more importantly, the commitment by the farmer to do at least 150 hectares of wheat.
Meanwhile, Minister Masuka revealed that government is in the process of modernizing GMB to meet world standards whereby farmers are able to access one-stop shop services. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Chegutu.
The country has raked in over $500 million United States during the 2026 tobacco marketing season amid calls by farmers for the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board to penalize defiant buyers who continue to manipulate the price matrix. Of major interest is the opening of the new tobacco floors in Bulawayo as the growing of the golden leaf spreads to the southern parts of the country.
The 2026 tobacco marketing season enters day 54 on Thursday, and the opening of new tobacco auction floors in Bulawayo has been the major highlight in the history of tobacco production in the country.
Inzuzo yakhona sibona isikhava sibili entweni esiningi.
Mbone sibili kungcono compared to any other crop sebesidimile. So mbona nganokwegwayo uzosisiza kakhulu.
It's good ngoba uma ngilimile mina ngathola I can cover something, something lami engaphakamisa empilweni.
Our latest statistics by the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board show that farmers have so far pocketed over $600 million United States since the auction floors opened in March this year. Tobacco deliveries have shot up by 22%, but the value of the golden leaf has declined by 10% same period last year. The average price of the golden leaf at both auction and contract sales plunged by 25%, a move that triggered government to introduce intervention measures.
We are also sorting other key issues so that by the end of this week, everyone else that holds a Class A license will be participating on our auction floors.
The situation at one of the busiest auction floors in Harare still calls for attention following reports of alleged price manipulation by some defiant buyers to implement TIMB pricing matrix.
Disparity between the prices that are happening here at auction floors is something very pathetic. It's terrible. It's not good. I think TIMB should jump in and make a decisive solution to make sure that the farmer's dignity is restored.
Federal government kuti ichinge chisimudzira maprice efodya yatawana yada kutengesa totasira maprice akanaka kudya inongodiwa yakapiswa zvakanaka kana yakapiswawo zvakanaka ine yakaiswa fertilizer yakakwana hainofanirwa kunge ichitengwa zvakanaka.
With over 266 million kilograms of tobacco having gone under the hammer so far, it means 100 million kgs of the leaf is still on its way, hence the need for TIMB to come up with a strict, transparent and fair pricing matrix that will protect the vulnerable farmers to go back to the land. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
A family remains the basic unit of society, and its preservation strengthens the moral fabric which makes its members to stay together and thrive. Addressing Zimbabweans living in the United Kingdom during Zimbabwe Culture Month celebrations at the Zimbabwe Embassy in London, the Minister of Human Affairs, Community, Small and Medium Enterprises, Senator Monica Muchangwa, stressed the importance of keeping the family together, especially in the diaspora where there are lifestyle changes and pressure of work. Senator Muchangwa also encouraged diasporans to invest back home, applauding their resilience and commitment in developing their country, as evidenced by the statistics on diaspora remittances.
This month focuses our attention on that important role that our culture plays in bestowing upon us our unique identity as the people of Zimbabwe. That cannot be taken away. It doesn't matter how many years you can live in this country. You always be looked at. It doesn't matter whether you've got citizenship. But one times I will be only here. But as you go out there in that country, which is here, in all its 10 provinces, what is the Saka, why wouldn't you be proud of just a country which looks at you and sees nothing else except their own son and daughter? So this is what we say. We know you have been putting a lot on the table, a lot on the economy of the country. When you look at the GDP of the country, the minister, Professor Mtuli, will attest to the fact that most monies which comes to the GDP of the country is coming from our Zimbabwean diaspora. By being here, it's truly a testament of government's commitment to continue to engage with our diasporans. You mean a lot.
Today marks the day of Pentecost, which comes 50 days after Easter Sunday or Resurrection Day, when Jesus Christ ascended to heaven. Our chief correspondent, Ruben Barry, spoke to United Methodist Bishop for the Episcopal area covering Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, Zambia, and several churches abroad, Dr. Gift Machinga, on the meaning of the day. Bishop Machinga also commended government for creating an enabling environment for the church to pray for peace.
Today marks 50 days after the ascension of Jesus Christ, when he was killed during Easter and he ascended to the good heavens. We managed to catch up with the Bishop Gift Machinga at the Macedonia Church in Zimbabwe-Russia, who was commemorating what they call the beacon, where Christians have got to celebrate and certify themselves that the doctrine of Christ is real and is giving dividends. He spoke to us about this particular day.
50 days after Easter is referred to as Pentecost Day. This is the day where the Christian community, not only in Zimbabwe, but all over the world, we commemorate the coming of the Holy Spirit. It is in that particular place where people coming from all over the world, speaking their different particular languages, but the amazing thing, when the Holy Spirit came, they were able to understand each other, they were able to accommodate each other, they were able to respect each other.
Interestingly, he also spoke about Africa Day that comes on the 25th of May, where the whole African continent is celebrating 63 years of the birth of the Organization of African Unity, the predecessor to the African Union.
Tomorrow, Africa Day, Christians, non-Christians, it is the day that as Africans we come together, we celebrate our Africanness.
So you have heard it through song and dance. People of the gospel celebrated the Africanness of this Church of Jesus Christ. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, Harare.
As the nation prepares to commemorate Africa Day this Monday, African nations are intensifying efforts towards assuring sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems in line with the aspirations of Agenda 2063.
This year's Africa Day commemorations are shining the spotlight on the urgent need to ensure sustainable water availability and safe sanitation systems as African countries work towards achieving the goals of Agenda 2063. Across the continent, governments are increasingly investing in water infrastructure projects including dam construction, irrigation rehabilitation programs, solar-powered boreholes, and community water harvesting systems designed to improve agricultural productivity and household access to clean water.
Investments in water infrastructure, sanitation system, irrigation, and renewable energy and environmental conservation is essential for achieving the goals of Agenda 2063. Projects such as, the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam demonstrates how African countries can responsibly utilize the natural resources to generate clean energy and support sustainable development. Ethiopia's Green Legacy initiative is one contribution towards building climate resilient for future generations of Africa.
In the same vein, the Algerian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Mohamed Saudi, described water as the backbone of all developmental sectors, saying sanitation systems, environmental sustainability, and public health all depend on reliable water supplies.
I will say it in Arabic and I try to translate it. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ, which means we made everything alive by water. And even if you want to clean climate and sanitation, you need water. So the water is a very important thing. But this requires the whole society approach. So the government has to provide policies, to provide finance, to provide infrastructure.
As Africa marks another milestone in its development journey, stakeholders say enhanced cooperation in water harvesting, irrigation development, and sanitation systems will be critical in ensuring a resilient, food-secure, and prosperous continent. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Apostolic churches in Mashonaland Central Province have commended government for supporting the development and growth of the church. The church noted the developmental perspective enunciated in the proposed constitutional changes under Constitutional Amendment Number 3 Bill.
Hundreds of members of apostolic churches converged at Chipadze Stadium under the auspices of Apostolic and Zion for Economic Development to express support for the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 Bill.
Uye taunganidza vanhu kuti tivadzidzise zvakanakira Cap 3 kuti chii charakanakira kwatiri isu sevapostori nemazion for economic development.
Tinotenda nechitiko ichi mamiriro yachaita kunge mushuya kunotisapotawo kuti bhindura izikane neCap 3 uye bhindura izive chinhu chinonzi VAT kuunganidza vapostori kuti yange yaripo tichikwanisa kunge tichiita kuti zvinhu zvedu zvifambe zvakanaka. Marodzi, president wedu vari kutichengeta, vari kutibatsira zvakawanda maproject.
Vatungamiri vose mabhishopi ese emuprovince yemai central vari affiliated huku VAT iri affiliate emusangano vabvuma kushedzwa kuti vauye tisimbisane munyaya yevision 2030 uye nenyaya yeCap 3. Saka ndiri kufara
tikutaura kuti isusu takawirirana neCAB number 3 kuti maMPs ngativavhoterei isusu maMPs ozonovhotera mutungamiri wenyika vari muparliament.
Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution Honorable Christopher Magomo called the church to remain united.
Kumbiro mutemo richaramba riripo rakuchinjwa. Saka mutemo uri kuchinjwa hausi kuchinjirwa president, uri kuchinjirwa nyika. It's for the betterment of our development as a country.
Tinoda kuti murambe muchitsigira Cap 3 kwamunofamba kwese ende munotaurira vanhu kuti zvatakaitirwa izvi zvazotinakidza zvino kuti vanhu vachangomhanyira kuenda kuma-election vakutarisana nebudiriro.
Apostolic and Zion for Economic Development was formed in 2022 with focus on running the church to support the National Development Drive. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Pindura.
Remember to visit our website for these and more stories in detail. It's www.zbcnews.co.zw. We're off to a break. We'll be back shortly with more news. Stay with us.
Boiling, the fires are burning, and Zimbabwe's finest cooks are ready for the ultimate showdown. The national finals of the 2026 Amais traditional cookout competitions are coming to Mbizo, Kwekwe in Midlands Province on the 25th of May 2026. Contestants from all the 10 provinces in the categories of community, professional chefs, tertiary students, churches, and persons with disabilities will battle it out in a celebration of culture, heritage, and traditional cuisine. An initiative by the patron of tourism and hospitality industry, Her Excellency, the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa. Come and experience the taste of Zimbabwe, our culture, and our heritage. See you there. Experience Zimbabwe. Nakayedu Hilifaletu. Our heritage. This is us. Zimbo.
Welcome to a decade of innovation, a legacy of trust, as Oxford Properties celebrates 10 years of excellence, from the success of Aspendale Park to our newest vision. We invite you to discover Borrowdale Park. Experience premium stands ranging from 400 to 800 square meters, with flexible payment plans designed for your future. Perfectly situated less than 5 kilometers from Sam Levy's village, this is where convenience meets sophistication. This is a complete lifestyle sanctuary, a secure, gated community featuring on-site schools, a medical clinic, and a modern shopping mall. From our dynamic business park to paved wellness trails and dedicated sports facilities, every detail, including a dedicated fire station, is built into the heart of the community. With title deeds guaranteed and professionally designed house plans ready for you, your peace of mind is our priority. Borrowdale Park. Designed for living.
The countdown begins. Zimbabwe hosts the SADC joint meeting of ministers responsible for agriculture, food security, fisheries, and aquaculture in Victoria Falls, advancing regional focus on food and nutritional security across all SADC member states. Save the date, 26 to 29 May 2026, hosted at Safari Lodge, Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe. Food security everywhere, every day.
Pinda inuma kwikwi eShumba Plus Pro and Ride Promotion nasi. Munokwanisa kuwina mitututu, magejo nepombi dzekufiritisa pese pamunotenga ma 200 grams matanatu kana ma 500 grams matatu eShumba Plus Stars. Promotion iyi iri kuitwa kubva musi wa 1 kubvumbi kusvika musi wa 31 nyamavuvu kuzvitoro zvinotengesa zvekurima nekurimisa zvakasarudzwa nyika yose. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Opposition political party, Labour economists and African Democrats lead founder and president Linda Masarira has died. Masarira died this Sunday at Parire Nyatwa Group of Hospitals. A close friend and associate, Dr. Abigail Mpambi, confirmed to ZBC News that Linda Masarira collapsed and was pronounced dead at Parire Nyatwa Group of Hospitals. Dr. Mpambi said further details regarding funeral arrangements will be communicated in due course. Mourners are gathered at 12 Early Avenue, Greencroft, Harare.
On yet another sad note, Brian Nandana, whose body was found buried in a shallow grave at Warren Hill Cemetery last week, has been buried at Glen Forest Memorial Park.
Friends and colleagues gathered at Glen Forest Memorial Park this Sunday to bid farewell to Brian Nandana, whose body was found buried in a shallow grave at Warren Hill Cemetery last week. Brian was allegedly murdered by his close friend, Shepherd Severa.
Kona mzukuru wangu akuchekwa kusika kuseru kupfura neckbone kusvika kwokupedzisira kuneck kwasara kuseri kwakabata neganda. I don't think kana anyone anofirwa. Yes, hatirambe kuti kufa murayiro waMwari, but this way is so painful.
Anga ari mwana ari humble, anoteerera, anofara, aiyimba. To come home, say, Mama, we can sing for you. I want to teach you keyboard.
Nandana's parents died when he was 7 years old, and he grew up at New Start Children's Home under the care of Mr. and Mrs. Farag.
Brian was very special to me. His parents died while they were working for me, and that was very unfortunate, but we took him and we loved him. We loved him so much. And he responded to that love. Music was, from a very young age, very special to him. And he wanted to share that music, and he did share that music. He was a good boy.
During the court proceedings on Friday, the court heard that the alleged brutal killer, Severa, lured Brian to Fuqua Shopping Center in Warren Park D, pretending as if he wanted to give him some money. Nandana allegedly drove to the location where Severa reportedly entered the victim's vehicle and went on to strangle him to death. The court heard that Severa allegedly used a knife to slit the deceased's throat, took control of the vehicle and drove to the Warren Hill Cemetery area. The suspect's luck ran out when he was spotted by an informant who was supervising security guards at a nearby construction site. Severa reportedly fled the scene on foot, dropping the victim's mobile phone in the process. Detectives from CID Homicide Unit are said to have recovered the phone and retrieved a trail of text messages which Severa and Nandana had sent to each other hours before his brutal murder. While Brian was laid to rest this Sunday, his alleged murderer, Shepherd Severa, remains in custody. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
A somber atmosphere engulfed Kezi in Matebeleland South Province as thousands gathered to bid farewell to their revered traditional leader, Chief Bakwai, who died last week.
As the body of the late Chief Bakwai arrived at his homestead arena, it was a difficult moment as mourners came to terms with the traditional leader's death. Renowned for his active role in community development after helping in the establishment of one of the thriving irrigation schemes in the province, Valley Irrigation, mourners eulogized Chief Bakwai as a humble traditional leader.
Esiloyisa ukuthi lo mntanakhe la ekangene kulona lelo inyathelo. Nanzelela umsebenzi kaBaba usithole ngendlela asebenze ngayo esigabeni. Njalo simbonga kakhulu ukuthi ubelethe ukuthula alethe le development.
Abadala sibili we are losing them. Abantu labana kade lesinika ama-advice abantu kade lesitshela ukuthi hayi lapha kumele lenze so lesinike guidance.
Usebenzile ngobuqotho la ngokuzinikela ekuthini umsebenzi wabantu uphumelele.
The president of the National Chiefs Council, Chief Mchane Kumalo, took the opportunity to urge the family to follow his culture in the succession process.
Siyakwazi sonke imkhuba ababe beyilandela ukukhetha kwabo umuntu ozathatha indawo yomuntu osedlule. Singabakhohlisi thina izakhamizi ukuthi lokhu la lokhu bayazazela bona.
Addressing hundreds at the burial of Chief Bakwai, the Deputy Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Albert Mavunga, described the late traditional leader as a dedicated community leader.
Under his stewardship, significant progress was realized in critical social sectors such as education, healthcare, and community welfare. Chief Bakwai also distinguished himself through his unwavering commitment towards the protection of vulnerable children and the strengthening of family values within communities.
Born Stanley Stole, Chief Bakwai died on the 17th of this month at the age of 84. He was installed substantive chief in 2007, taking over from his father Kemes Stole, who died in the early 70s. He is survived by his wife Martha Moyo and 4 children. He was buried in accordance with the Ndebele tradition where only close family members were in attendance. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Kezi.
Fanuel Mate, the driver of the Toyota Noah vehicle involved in the accident that claimed 8 lives in Hwange on Saturday, has been arrested. He's facing charges of culpable homicide and is currently being held at Hwange Police Station. Mate is expected to appear in court soon.
Bulawayo is set to host the 4th edition of the National Education Summit Zimbabwe from the 27th to the 30th of this month, bringing together key stakeholders to deliberate on the transformation of the local education system. The details.
The summit seeks to strengthen implementation of education policies through innovation, partnerships, investment mobilization, technology integration, skills development, accountability, and inclusive education approaches aligned to the National Development Agenda and Vision 2030.
The summit responds directly to the national priorities, including full implementation and assessment of the heritage-based curriculum, which is trying to respond to the changes in the global economy. It also will look at issues that have to do with infrastructure expansion and school decongestion. We are bringing together the public and the private sector to partner in developing infrastructure in our education sector. The summit will also be looking at issues that have to do with digital inclusion.
The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Torai Moyo, noted the impact of public-private partnerships in the education sector.
We want new schools to emerge every day. As long as they are registered, there is no problem. What we are against are the schools that are not registered, those that are operating outside the confines of the law. Then we descend heavily on those schools. I appreciate there are some private schools that are operating very well, government schools operating very well.
The summit will culminate in the tabling of a comprehensive communique providing strategic and actionable recommendations to strengthen Zimbabwe's education system and support national development priorities. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Sunday Edition takes a short break and we'll be back just now. Welcome back. Now, as Zimbabwe commemorates Culture Month this May, our This and That feature tonight looks at the traditional way of life for the Eastern Shona community found in Manicaland province. For a thrilling insight, our reporter Gay Matambo walks us through the newly modernized Bait Gallery at Mutare Museum.
This isn't just a room of dusty, silent history, it's a living time capsule. The gallery brings ancient Manicaland roaring back to life, showcasing the genius, tools, and daily customs of the traditional Eastern Shona people. The displays seamlessly wind through the survival strategies of the past, from the sharp ingenuity of hunting and gathering tools to the breathtaking genius of terrace farming, where early communities beautifully carved into the rugged Eastern highlands to grow their crops.
The Shona culture, even in the Ndebele culture, we have a setup whereby we have traditional leaders, the chiefs. So there's a section on chieftainship whereby we display a map demarcating the boundaries of different chiefs that are found in Manicaland. And also we have a case whereby we display the regalia that is worn by the chiefs.
As you walk deeper into the ethnological exhibits, the atmosphere shifts towards the mystical gallery's most captivating display, traditional healing and witchcraft. Among the tools of the traditional healers and witches, the Eastern Shona possessed a notoriously fearsome practice of cosmic justice and defense. If you ever wronged someone in these highlands, you might have heard the chilling phrase whispered in your direction, "Tichaonana Mayenza," meaning we will meet during the rainy season. This wasn't a casual goodbye, it was a promise of thunderous revenge. The Eastern Shona people were masters of many, the art of manufacturing and sending artificial lightning. Through dark rituals, individuals could channel the raw power of a storm to seek revenge or establish a psychic shield against rival witches. The ingredients of these supernatural strikes were as bizarre as they were terrifying.
It was collected here in Manicaland, and maybe it's a set of 4 objects or artifacts, and one is a bottle with sticks inside, and the other one is a horn-like object, and the other one is a bottle with fluids and the bottle with a powder. It is believed that it is used as a defense mechanism in Manicaland.
While these ancient customs might sound wild to a modern audience, culture and tradition remain the ultimate anchors of any people's history, defining exactly who they are, where they come from, and where they are going. Gaima Tambo, ZBC News, Mutare.
Well, this and that feature giving us an insight into some of the secrets behind our culture in the Eastern region. Now, the advent of solar-powered multi-grain threshers developed by a local university is poised to revolutionize the post-harvest processing of traditional grains such as sorghum and millet in Zimbabwe, our science and technology feature.
The drive to find climate-smart solutions to the laborious process of threshing, winnowing, de-hulling and roasting traditional grains, tasks traditionally undertaken particularly by women and children, has resulted in a Marondera-based institution of higher learning developing a solar-powered thresher that is fast and efficient. Marondera University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology Muwasti technician Douglas Murove explains how the thresher works.
So patinofeeda panapa achipinda mukati ndo paari kunokrashwa neshaft yatiri kutenderedza using this motor panapa. Saka paari kukrashwa pane another motor another shaft iri kuno kuseri kuno. So this one inopower fan iri mukati inenge yakavharwa panapa iri mukati. So fan iyi ndori kunorova ichibvisa marara ose anenge akrashwa mukati umu. Marara aya anenge akrashwa oseparata neseed yedu grain redu riya iri. Then torasa kunoku takurasa all the shaft yatisiri kuda yatiri kurova nefeni yedu iri kurova nefeni yoya yoraswa kunoku takusara neseed mukati.
Abundant solar radiation, approximately 3,000 sunshine hours annually, renders this solar-powered solution to be more viable.
A solar yedu pane control box ndoratine control ma speed. It can run up to 2,000 revs per minute. So tinongodependa nekuti product yedu yatinoda kupura yakaita sei. So tine sorghum iyi, then tine mhunga iyi, tinogona kupura futi mhunga yedu, tinogona kupura futi sorghum yedu. So for this one is for small grains only. Then speed yedu zvainoita, power yedu tinoiwana muzuva. So kuwanda kwezuva
Apart from reducing carbon emissions, the new technology seeks to improve food safety by minimizing contamination risks, as well as reducing high fuel costs and the strenuous cranking required to start machines, which is particularly difficult for women and children. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Marondera.
That report from Kenya is taking us to a break. We will be back with sport.
Runyararo kubatana nebudiriro view number 3 sutoita chisungo takavaedza nyika ikagutsikana chisungo nganganga isu tatenderana vamananga kwatungamira itiende hakuna dunhu richazara nyika inovakwa nevene vayo nyika inotongwa nevene vayo kurula kukomana nashubuko vinu namba 3 inakonga kurula kukomana nashubuko vinu namba 3 inakonga.
Welcome back. In sports news, chaotic scenes rocked Chawanda Stadium in Kwekwe this Sunday in the match pitting Hard Rock and Dynamos, resulting in the abandonment of the high-stakes encounter.
What was promising to be the most beautiful outing for the weekend turned to be an ugly highlight for Zimbabwean football at Chawanda Stadium as tempers flared during the Kasolaga Premier Soccer League Match Day 14 encounter between Hard Rock and Dynamos. Prolonged periods of crowd trouble between the home and away fans spilling onto the pitch in the 70th minute forced the match officials to abandon the game before normal proceedings could be concluded. Dynamos had taken a 20th minute lead before the home side equalized through Wilfred Madzungu from the penalty spot to make it 1-1. However, the tension had been evident way before kickoff, with both sets of fans taking turns to storm the center circle. The match kickoff was delayed by over 20 minutes to accommodate more fans. The PSL has since released a statement acknowledging the incident and is expected to review circumstances surrounding the abandonment of the match. Meanwhile, in other Kasolaga Premier Soccer League Match Day 14 results, Manica Diamonds and Highlanders played out a goalless draw. FC Hunters and Tier 1 drew 1-0, while Moors secured a 2-0 victory over Triangle United. The weekend action concludes on Monday with Capes United hosting FC Platinum at Rufaro Stadium. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
Although living in rural areas is sometimes regarded as a barrier to a child's realizing their full potential, government's inclusive development stance is diminishing this narrative. 11-year-old Purity Jugora from Seke Rural, Mashonaland East Province, has against all odds managed to be part of Team Zimbabwe at the just-ended Africa Youth Chess Championships tournament held in Uganda.
These were part of the welcoming celebrations of a village girl who managed to represent not only her household, village or school, but the whole of Zimbabwe at continental level. Being a girl child who lives and goes to school in the rural areas has not held back a talent only one can marvel about. Purity says that she is grateful to her parents for their unwavering support.
Noti kuma subject ekuchikora notopedzera wakubatsirwa yakafana nemaths, visual arts ne science and technology notobatsira pachess.
The Sekematirera primary school pupil started playing chess at the tender age of 4, and this is her second time donning the national colors outside Zimbabwe. Jugora village in Seke district, from where she hails, is on cloud 9 due to this feat by one of its own.
Challenge iri kwese nekumusha. Challenge haisi kugwaguta chete. Even from last year akaenda kuKenya, this is second time kubuda zvakare. Saka zvoreva kuti tangokurudzira maparents kuti agone kukurudzira vana.
Kuna kuti mwana uyu atifadza nekuti haana kuzvimiririra iye ega, asi amirira kunyangwe nedunhu rese rikuno kwaSeke, Mashonaland East Province.
Zimbabwe Chess Federation has launched the Chess to Kumusha initiative. So chess is for everyone.
Coming from a rural setup and being a girl child have been cited as motivating circumstances and not barriers to one pursuing their talent in sports like chess.
Chess aina kuoma asi zvinoda uchitamba nemoyo wese nekuti ukasatamba nemoyo wese unopedzera kutoti yakaoma.
Stories such as Purity's highlight important synergies between determination and government policy, where a combination of the two produces polished gems, even from rural communities. Tobias Mudzingwa, ZBC News, Seke.
Well, kudos to Purity for representing the ordinary Zimbabwean girl. Now, Zimbabwean athletes Zanda Botha and Mbira were a shining beacon at the regional annual sports awards held in Luanda, Angola this Saturday.
Zimbabwe continues to make footprints in the sport realm after scooping accolades at the regional annual sports awards held in Luanda. The awards, which marked an 8-year journey, continue to be a motivation and an inspiration for sports personalities, with advocates of sporting excellence also receiving recognition. Chief Director in the Ministry of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Dr. Eugenia Chidakwa, was once again on the spotlight after being honored for her involvement in sport alongside Dr. Nick Munyonga. Not to be left out were the trio of athletes Zanda Botha and Simbarasha Mushai and journalist Langton Nyakwenda. Botha was named the Junior Sports Person of the Year, while Mushai scooped the Sports Person with a Disability gong. Journalist Langton Nyakwenda also scaled these heights after scooping the Journalist of the Year accolade.
It makes me feel really great. I can't believe that this has happened. I never expected to be able to win this, but I'm really honored. I'm really humbled by this. It's really great.
Invited for the Africa Award, so not invited for the Africa Award. I was looking around, it was my first time, these people around who knowing me or they supporting me.
Naturally, I'm very happy. You know, this was a very tough field. Brett Kanyama from Malawi, Limba from Namibia, veteran journalists, good writers. So I want to just thank them also for giving me competition. They are very good writers, I'm sure we've all won. I would like to say I'm representing the millions of Zimbabwe, in Zimbabweans back home. A few weeks ago I was the best reporter in Zimbabwe, and now it is elevated to the regional level. And I want to thank God and my family for this achievement.
The Regional Annual Sports Awards are a platform to honor sports personalities from the region. Mtokozi Stube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And that report concluding Sports Buzz, it's now time for our showbiz. Zimbabwe's entertainment scene remains rich, diverse and alive, with unforgettable moments being captured this weekend from live shows held at various joints across the country.
Mbira artists from across the country gathered at Baradzanwa Cultural Village in Mazowe, where they demonstrated their artistry and command of the instrument in a series of compelling performances. The Baradzanwa Mbira Festival drew both the young and the elderly, uniting generations in celebration of Zimbabwe's rich cultural heritage. It was a night of pure entertainment and energy in Marondera, where Felinandi wowed her fans with Afrofusion melodies. Back in Harare, the Dembo brothers brought back the 90s nostalgia as they belted their late fathers' heads, mesmerizing patrons at a local hotel. Alliance Française opened its doors to jazz lovers with impressive performances from Josh Mack and the legendary South African jazz artist Steve Dyer, who brought back memories with his hit song Tabiso.
Let's get the weather report and forecast, courtesy of the Met Services Department.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Hope I find you well. Looking at some of the conditions that we had with just brief cloudy periods over Masvingo province with a few light showers, and there were also brief cloudy periods over the eastern parts of the country as moisture was drifting eastwards out of the country. However, those clouds did not dampen much of the weekend, where we had mostly sunny skies by afternoon across much of the country, and we're still expecting more sunshine as we get into Africa Day. That's tomorrow, the 25th of May. And with that, we're expecting warmer conditions than of late as we get into the week. But in the evening hours, we're expecting it to be rather mild across the Zambezi Valley, cooler in the interior, but by afternoon, we're expecting warmth across much of the country with mostly sunny skies across most areas. And with that, we project that in Bulawayo, we're expecting the maximums to increase as we get into Thursday. Tomorrow, the maximum is 25 degrees Celsius. Morning temperature about 12 degrees Celsius, so it should be in the cool category. Same for Matopo, we're expecting 11 for the morning, going as high as 24 by afternoon. Also warming up as we get into Thursday, where we're expecting a maximum of 27. For Gwanda, we're expecting morning temperature of about 18 degrees, going as high as 25, and it also warms up to about 26 as we get towards Thursday. And for Gweru, we're expecting a maximum of 23 tomorrow, but temperatures fall in the morning. We're expecting a few single digits in the early hours of the morning. For Masvingo, it's 12 and 25 for tomorrow, and it also warms up as we get into the rest of the week with mostly sunny skies across Masvingo, which had brief cloudy periods today. For Mutare, we're expecting a maximum of 25, morning temperature 12 degrees, and it warms up as well as we get into the rest of the week. Nyanga is projected to have a maximum of 21. Mornings are in the single digits, so it should be rather chilly in the morning of Nyanga. Same for Marondera, we're expecting 9s and 8s in the morning, but it also warms up to about 22 degrees Celsius by afternoon. And as we get into the rest of the week, more of the sunshine. Sunshine also in the Sunshine City. We're expecting a maximum of 24 tomorrow. For Kadoma, 27 is the maximum for much of the week. Also warms up as we get into the rest of the week. Chinoi, a maximum of 27, which is rather in the hot category for Chinoi, whilst Victoria Falls is at 29. So for those who want a bit of warmth during these wintry days, go to such places as Victoria Falls. We're expecting Lupane to be at 28 by afternoon, and morning temperature about 18 degrees. And for Bindura, we're expecting a maximum of 25, also warming up as we get into the rest of the week. For Kariba, it's 30, and it cools down to just about 29, making it comfortable to be out and about in Kariba. That's it from the weather desk. It's back to the news and leaving you watching some of the images as we celebrate the 25th of May.
And that's all we had for you on Sunday edition. From all of us here, it's good night.
Good night.